Hello everybody, today I have a look at two Spydercos, as you may have guessed from seeing the round holes. I'm talking here about the Police, which is a true classic, and this is the latest iteration with G10 handle and some other refinements, and the Stretch too, so it's a second iteration in its carbon fiber handle version. So, first the Police. Now this knife has been on the market since 20 years, so we can talk here really about a modern cutlery classic, designed really indeed for police use, a tactical use you could say, where actually the designer, who is the owner of Spyderco, wanted to have the longest possible blade inside a folding knife. Well, and indeed this is the longest folder that I have. So I open it. It's already, I notice with my camera setting, a bit difficult to fit it completely on the screen. So it's an enormous folder. So this is my average hand. It's enormous with the blade. Let me see. It is around 11 centimeter, I believe. Yeah, it's around 11 centimeter long, which is actually 4 inches. So that's quite a, quite a serious blade that perhaps you're not allowed to wear in your region. You have to check that. Now, since this knife was originally designed for a tactical usage, for, yes, indeed, for the police, length is important. In the unfortunate case you would be in a knife fight. Then you always have an advantage if you have something longer than the other party. Now, that tactical usage doesn't interest me personally at all, but I'm interested in beautiful, well-designed knives that can also be used as a utility knife. That's what I use my knives for. And I was always interested by the, let's say, the streamlined form of this Police, and I never bought an older one because typically they were in stainless steel, the handles, which I don't really like. Stainless steels can be pretty cold to the touch. Here, this newer version, well, you can still buy it in stainless steel, but I prefer really the G10. The feeling of structured G10 is nicely grippy and it's not cold. Otherwise, this is, as many Spydercos are, a very well made backlocking folder with thick metal liners, well, roughly 1.5 millimeter, I would say, sturdy backlock with that special dent here that is set to help that you don't accidentally unlock when you press the handle. Well, it's probably marketing speak, but it says, what I like is that even without looking you immediately find the button. So that in that context it has some sense. It has a coil here so that you can really hold it close, and also here this thinner part could possibly be used if you really need to cut something, let's say sideways. It helps a bit gripping the blade here. I think that's why it's there. I have no idea for what else. It's made in Seki City, like many good Spydercos, with the very good Japanese steel G10, which is reasonably rust resistant as well. So it is indeed an interesting knife. I don't carry it at all, not really. I use it in the garden for barbecue like activities, for that, because, well, if I would be checked on the street carrying that, I would have problems. It's too long. Well, in my country you're not even supposed to wear a knife, but this one will definitely questions will be asked. But if you're into knives, you have to say this is a very nice design, timeless design. Really, function follows form follows function. That works really well. I must say, when it comes to big Spydercos, I have still a preference for the military, the awesome military, because it's lighter. While it doesn't seem weaker at all. It's a liner lock but with reinforced handles. I have another review on it. The blade is just a bit shorter, well, half a centimeter or something, and the form of it and the sturdiness, it's a bit sturdier. It's around 4 millimeters, while the Police, like many Spydercos, the thickest part is 3 millimeters. The blade, I must say, for me this feels just right. Well, the Police is also awesome, don't mistake that, and it's a true cutlery classic, and I can see the appeal. I see the slenderness, also typical with this big Spyderco, the same that the military has. While they seem so big, but they are again you see the good design. They are pretty thin and you can really wear them rather comfortably, so there is something good about that. So this is the Police, a classic that is always worth investigating, even if perhaps it's a bit big to carry around, and definitely people who are not into knives will be a bit shocked when you when they see you opening it. Then here now the Stretch tool. So there was an original Stretch, and the word Stretch indeed means that it's somewhat longer, the blade. Had a stainless steel handle frame with some synthetic material inlay. I never thought it was pretty. Now this is the new version that also exists in FRN, but my version here is the one with carbon fiber as a handle. I must say, well, it is grippy. It feels a bit like G10. Probably it being carbon fiber, it will stay structured for a long time, and it feels a bit more luxurious in the hand in some undefinable way compared to G10. Now I must say that I always prefer the look here. You see the Sage, it has a more woven kind of carbon fiber look. I always prefer this, but it must be said, perhaps for hard use this structure is a bit better, even if it looks a bit less classy. It looks more utilitarian. So at first sight this is I would say a subdued design, a subtle design, but I must say, while you know, there are so many good knives on the market, when you're really into it, I cannot imagine having found one knife that does everything together better than almost all the rest, because it is really such a nicely universal tool. For starters, I think it looks, when you open it, so it has around 9mm length with a drop point. It looks more gentlemanly in nature, or a bit utilitarian, you could say. I don't particularly think it looks aggressive, but perhaps that's because I've seen already so many knives in my life. I really think this is nearly perfect, I must say. You could use it at a table. Now I must say, of course, my classic Lagiols at a table look simply more fantastic, but it is very well usable in the kitchen, because the blade is not too thick. Here 3mm, here is quite a bit thinner, with a thin point for really laser-like precise cutting, which already shows this is a pure slicing tool. You shouldn't demolish a house with it. If you want to do that, you need something like a Manix. But if you want a pure cutting tool, and that's what I'm typically after, the geometry is really precise, with a full flat ground, which always works well, and a relatively thin blade and a fine tip. So you can use this very well also indeed for food prep and various slicing activities. The blade material is the high-end ZTP 189 steel, which actually you have to watch out a bit, that it's better to keep it sharp. I mean, when you use it from time to time, sharpen it, because if it gets dull, it will be a major pain to sharpen it again, because it's so hard and so tough. Otherwise, it's one of the highest end steels you can imagine. So it is really good in the hand here, with also a bit coil here with a bit of jimping. You can hold it close. It's relatively, yeah, like dressed up looking, I could say. Like I said, it would have even more so what I mentioned here with the woven carbon fiber, but okay, screwed together, so you can put it apart if you want to clean here perhaps the mechanism. You can put the clip in the 4 sides. I think, while it is indeed at first sight it's subdued, well, because it's a bit longer than many Spydercos, it makes it more universal, meaning also, let's say, at a table or for food, it's more practical than many of the shorter Spydercos, and its typical form actually is relatively friendly and a really good tool. So, I mean, these days, well, all good knives do a lot of things well, and for other parts they may sometimes be a bit an approximation, you could say, and I've not seen yet a knife that brings everything as nicely together than this one. And you've seen perhaps some of my other reviews, and I think you will agree that I have a lot of nice designs, and several of them look better than this one. but perhaps if I had to keep just one knife, perhaps it would be this one, because it does everything perfectly balanced well. So I will put them side by side to summarize. Two interesting Spydercos, I would say. The Police giant kind of folder, a classic, and you can see why. It's virtually indestructible, very practical for a lot of usages. It's true, it may be a bit long for some people. And here the wonderfully universal Stretch 2, at first sight a bit subdued, a discreet kind of design, but you begin to appreciate how good it is. It has a bit of slicing capability of a Centofante 3, or a simple Opinel, which what also does a good slicing. Totally high-end steel. It's sturdy enough for tough work like a Cali 3, so it brings a lot of really good things together.